So today I'm going to be showing you how to do a mixed media piece, and the one I have is pretty small just because of time that we have. So what I did is I started out with a piece of cardboard, and I did the first layer just because that layer takes the longest because you're waiting for the Mod Podge to dry. So what I did is I took a dictionary and I cut out or ripped out pages of the book, so one that I didn't use, and those are my base layers. So to get those to stick, I use something called Mod Podge, which is similar to glue. It smells kind of funky, and then it's hard to see, the lighting's not super great in here, making do with what I have today. And then I started with a green, and right now the green kind of looks out of place a little bit, but once we get going, that will change. So what a mixed media piece is it is a bunch of layers. So you add a little bit of this and that, and you end up getting your final piece. So you can take things like a stencil right here, and you just place it on a random spot. And this right here is Fresh Lime ink spray. So it's like a paint, a little bit different. It's meant for things like this, stencils to be exact. And the beginning stages are never quite what you want them to be. So that's what that did, is it just added some green. So then you just keep doing that with whatever you want. And today I'm going to do cool colors, just because I like cool colors. They go with what I have in my room. And so yeah, cool colors are actually easy for your eyes to look at. And green is the only color that your eyes do not have to really focus on to view. So this is what this did. The Mod Podge is still a little bit wet here. I'm just trying to go as quick as I can. So that's just like the base layer that we're starting right now. And sometimes it runs. And right away when I did these, I did not like it when my stuff ran. I was like, not quite what I want. I thought it looked messy, but after doing a few pieces, you come to the realization that it gives it character. And in the world of art, character is a really important thing. So definitely be creative with what you do. So my Mod Podge is still a little bit wet, so I'll let this sit here and I'll just keep adding layers on. So you can do a mixed media on really any, you can do it on a book, you can do it on cardboard like I have here, you can do it on a canvas, which is pretty common. That's what a lot of people end up doing theirs on. So it really just kind of depends on what you're feeling for the day. So when you do a mixed media, you always want to have a theme in mind. So my theme today is going to be to create, because I like creating. It is kind of like a therapy for me in a certain sense. My mind when I am creating is free, which I think is the best time. You don't think about much. So what I'm doing here, this is like a little dabber, and this is more like of a paint, solid versus the liquid that I had there for the other stencils. So what this one does is this is more of a stamp. So there's like really, really light pink on there. And you can just kind of put that wherever you choose. You just push that down. It's kind of difficult to see because it's so light. But when you do these, you want some contrast, just because it makes things pop a little bit more. Let's see here, I'll go here. So I'll kind of show you what I have so far. It's kind of wet. It's going to run a little bit. So that's what we have so far. So right now, if you look at this, you see the two corners. Those are what stands out a little bit more. Whoops. Those are what stands out. So then you have to find ways to distract the two. So we'll figure out here. So then what you can do sometimes is you can let the paint just drip down. And because the Mod Podge is still a little bit wet, that actually works out pretty well. It can be a little bit messy, so I'll show you this here in a second. And by doing this, you just kind of blend everything together a little bit more. So we have that so far. Oops. So in the corner there, then we have to figure out what we want to do to kind of distract the fact that the greens are a little bit different. So you just kind of keep adding on. So when I look at this, I think of like nighttime. And it looks a little bit different on the camera here compared to what it does in person, just because of the lighting that we have. But, so yeah, that's kind of the evolution of a background. You just keep building up your layers, which is definitely important. And then, once you are happy with that, actually I'll do one more here and then I'll show you. So, lots of colors here that we have going on, which is definitely important. Let's see, we'll do this color instead actually. It's not going to work. Okay, so we'll keep going. But yeah, next I'm going to start to add my little 3D objects. So here we have a little star. It's kind of hard to see, a little star. And then we have just some paper to add over. And what this is actually like tin foil. Is kind of what it comes in. And you just rip off the piece that you need, which I thought was super cool. I had not seen that before. Something kind of different. So we'll get that stuck on there. And this will actually stick because it's pretty wet. So let's see, we'll do this one here. And it's all random. You can't go wrong. You can always fix it by going over it with another layer if you need. And also you'll notice my edges on this one are not even. I don't like to do even edges. I think that it looks a lot more fun. So here we have just those papers that I just stuck on. And then, let's see here. Put a star on there. And this one's pretty simple. Normally when I do these, I do them for projects for my independent or advanced art class. And they take about 30 hours. So I have a lot bigger scale than what this one is here. So yeah, this is just kind of a quick rundown of what I like to do. This is what I do in my free time. So here I have just some words. So like create, success, love, faith, joy, dream, believe. But today I'm going to go with the create, and maybe I'll put imagine in another corner. So you need to find a color that contrasts. Sorry, here I'll just grab this one. So we have white. And it may not stick out a huge amount, but that's okay. Right here. You don't need it to stick out a huge amount. And normally I do this when it's a little bit more dry, so it may not work. Let's see here. Nope, that did not work, so we'll just wait till it dries a little bit. So because that didn't work, you can see where the white is. You just make the most out of it. So you just spray a little bit more, like wherever. So it's easy to fix your problems that you run into that you notice. But yeah, so that's kind of what a mixed media is. And once this were to dry a little bit more, I'd be able to add words. I could do 3D or I could do 2D, kind of just depending on what I want. So definitely a fun little project that you can do with your friends or your mom or your dad or whoever you live with. Passes time. Creating is good. So I hope you learned something kind of cool. Have a great night.